So how we use those browse budgets is to find out how much browse we have in the paddock, and if it doesn't rain, how much longer can we keep goats in that paddock before they start to slip. The only thing I want to know is, I put goats in today, do I have till in September, October or December to get them out?
In video 1, we worked out what the forage supply was in the paddock that's available for the goats, and we came up with a figure of 270 kilograms per hectare of dry matter. And a dry sheep equivalent eats 1.1 kilograms of dry matter per day. So now we can start doing some calculations, and we can start doing a forage budget with these two figures. We know what the supply is, we know what the demand is, we know what the paddock size is, and I'll bring those figures in as we go through this exercise. 270 divided by 1.1 gives us 245 days grazing days per hectare in that paddock. Now what we need to know is the grazing period. So how long do we intend to graze the stock in that paddock? And we normally do a forage budget at the end of the growing season, so we're going to start at the 1st of May. And the grazing period needs to go right through the dry season, and we wouldn't expect any more forage to grow until sometime in the next growing season. And usually in this part of the world, that would be around the end of December. So that's when we'd have enough grass grown for animals to be doing reasonably well. So we're going to go to the 31st of December. So that's a period of 240 days. So that's quite convenient. So we've got 245 grazing days per hectare, and our period is 240 days. So that means we can run one DSE, one dry sheep equivalent per hectare for that grazing period to take us from the end of the growing season, 1st of May, through to the 31st of December, when we'd expect enough rain and have enough pasture growth to sustain animal livestock gain. So having done that, we now need to know what size the paddock is. And in this instance, the paddock is 300 hectares. So what that's telling us is we can run one DSE per hectare, then we can run a total of 300 dry sheep equivalents in that paddock. Now what we need to do is convert that back to the number of goats that we can run. We know we can run 300 DSE, but in this instance we might want to run nannies and kids in that paddock. So a doe that's either pregnant or with a kid at foot is 1.5 DSEs. So a doe plus a kid equals 1.5 DSEs. So now we divide our 300 by 1.5, and that comes up to 200. That means we can run 200 nannies and kids in that paddock for that period between the 1st of May through to the 31st of December. And that's our forage budget. That's how simple it can be.